Ladies and gentlemen, Leon needs no introduction. He's been on this platform before, and every time he's on this platform, our numbers shoot up the roof. We actually have to go now and make sure that we accommodate more numbers on the group. So Leon, thank you so much for making time to be with us this morning. Leon is an international landscape designer representing Africa on show garden stages across the world. He was brought up in the Lowveld Botanical Garden. I think this is what makes him so special and makes him enjoy nature so much. He studied landscape design in Jerusalem and then moved to the Comoros island, where he designed the private estate gardens for SNIE International. He'll tell us more a little bit about that later. He returned to South Africa too and opened a Fevertree Nursery in Nelspruit. He has designed and constructed gardens for Disney, the United Nations, the Botanical Gardens in Korea, France, and Australia. He has won many, many awards. In fact, he is one of our favorites. In fact, he's our lead designer for the Kirstenbosch Chelsea Flower show, which has won gold twice ever since he's taken over. Leon is just an absolute amazing human being. You should have coffee with him and you'll get to love him even more. I'm just putting you on the spot, Leon, because of that's just how amazing you are. He is currently working on a new garden project in the winelands, which should be open and completed in 2022. We can't wait to see how that garden looks like. He's actually shared some information with me about that garden, and I absolutely want to go and check it out. Leon, without any waste of time, it's just such an absolute pleasure to have you, my friend. And as we always do it, please sit back, enjoy, take us on this magical world of natural environment. And to the rest of you, please listen out carefully to what Leon is going to be saying. Throughout his talk, we will be posting some polls and asking you some questions. And those that answer those questions correctly stand a chance to win amazing prizes, which we'll share with you at the end of the show. So to everybody out there, good luck, enjoy, and I will see you guys on the other side. Leon, the stage is yours, my friend.
Thank you so much, John. Now I'm blushing even more. It's been an interesting couple of years, I would say, and especially for gardening. We've been kind of locked into some projects, which is, I would say, good in a sense. We had some more time to really think about the design aspects of the gardens that we want to install. Now, during lockdown, there was a project that we were going to start, and I was lucky enough that I stayed at the property itself, only me, on this big farm in the Franschhoek Valley. And I stayed there for just about a year because lockdown was forever, but it was magical. And I've never had that experience where I could be on the property for so long and experience the property from dusk till dawn and through all the seasons. And I think the inspiration also became a little bit more personal, because the garden became my space too, living on the property. So today I want to share with you a little bit of the process that we're still busy with in developing this garden. It's only going to be completed like 90% in end of 2022, but phase 1 will be completed end of this month. So I'm going to take you through a little of my journey of when lockdown started, and I'll show you some of the spaces, some of the difficulties, some of the nice parts, some of the not so nice parts, and some of the end results that are already completed. So I hope you enjoy it. And I'm not going to give you the name of the property where we are or the owners or anything like that. That will be only revealed when the gardens are open. It's going to be open a few days in the year for the public, but the rest of it, it will be something else. But let's start. Let me share the screen so we can do this goodies. This is, we're going to call it the secret garden for now. So it's in the heart of the Franschhoek Valley. Now, the Franschhoek Valley is kind of, for me personally, divided into two sections. There's the town and the valley from Paarl that goes towards town. And then there's the valley going more deeper into the mountains. And that area is wet. It's one of the wettest parts of the Western Cape and indeed the country. So when we have rain there, it pours. And for a gardener like me, it's heaven. Because if I can put that irrigation on as little as possible, then my day is made. So this is the Franschhoek Valley. And this, what you're seeing now, is the space. And that was before we even started with the garden. So it goes right up from the mountain all the way into the valley below. Clearly, we're not going to garden in the mountain, but we are definitely going to take out all of those pine trees and eucalyptus that's coming on there. And we're kind of far with that already. So lockdown happened in 2020. And I was asked, or was it 2019? I actually can't remember. Time just flies by. And I was asked to stay at the farm and to start the design work, which was very convenient and it was a lovely experience to have that. Like I said, it was only me on the farm and the guinea fowl and the geese and the overgrown property. This property was very neglected. There hasn't been attention given to it for many, many, many years. And that's kind of how it looked like. So you think, oh, I'm in paradise in Franschhoek, but it's kind of a neglected paradise. As you can see there, this is part of the main buildings and then the gardens that once were surrounding it, but it must have been many, many years ago. And there's some plants here that didn't really make sense in this property. As you can see with the cycad, it found a new owner that appreciated it a lot more. And this was the rose garden that was in the property. So this is just to give you a sense of what we worked with. But it's also a good thing because I have a clean canvas. I'm not obstructed by big structural elements or big trees or pretty gardens that already seem pretty, but that you have to incorporate in your own. I have a blank canvas, which I can work from. The soil, on the other hand, was pure clay. So this property was in an old vlei wetland. So it's heavy clay soil. So we have to start slowly but surely prepping the soil into getting it more drained and also getting more organic matter in. And that was not so easy. We're still actually busy with it. So the objective with this farm is to create a garden space that will be for the clientele of this farm. And it's all about the gardens and the sensory experience of plants, not only senses, but also spiritually and culinary. So all of the plants in this garden somehow is a journey to healing yourself. So we have different aspects in the garden that have certain healing aspects to the human psyche and body. Now, this is while I was sitting. So now we scribble along. So this is part one of the property. You'll see at the top, there's the main manor house, and then the gardens evolving around it. So this is what I do, sketching each one. It's a little cartoon. I don't like computers. You saw that now in the beginning with me, can't even screen share. I like painting with pencil, paint, and cookies, and create this cartoon fantasy world, because that's what it's going to be. It's not a very stiff, computerized avatar that I'm presenting. I'm presenting my fantasy in my head of the gardens that I want to create. We have a big dam, which I wanted to create, make a little bit bigger and put an island in for yoga retreats. We have such a nice view from the mountains in the morning where the sun comes up. Place for all the animals. We have a chakra garden. We have a sunken yoga garden. We have an orchard garden. magnolia garden. Here we have all the productive gardens, and then perennial gardens, butterfly gardens. So there's a lot of different, and each area of my design has a little name for it because it has a purpose too. And it's a story. So when you go through the property and you walk around the gardens, you have a little booklet and it tells you the story of the gardens and what's in the gardens and what the gardens do for you as a person. This is also just sketching. So I'll show you a little bit later what it looks like at the moment, but this was me grabbing a little bit of ideas out of the air or sitting next to the piece of land, which is bare. First of all, we need to start a nursery. Now, this is a big property, and you can't always buy all the plants. It just shoots your budget like crazy and goes sky high. And I would rather use budget in clever ways to create as much detail in the garden as possible. So what do? Start our nursery, allocate a nice space, put up a tunnel so we can grow our own seed. I have a seed library at home where I collect seed from all over the world and especially here in South Africa. And they're just lying there in the cupboards, all waiting to be sown. And this was the grand opportunity for that. And we can have so much more plants that's not available for us to buy. Starting to prep in lockdown now. So it's just me and my assistant, Tristan, and we're starting to sow all the seeds, prepping the tunnel and creating our little nursery. So that was when lockdown started. This is about April. So it's just before winter. And that's also a lesson learned because of the heavy rain here. We had a lot of damage when it came to the seeds in the trays being spilled out by the water and also the cold. But we managed to get quite a lot growing. This is the nursery developing. And whilst we're doing the nursery, we're clearing some areas of the site. And this is the nursery actually at the moment. So it's still brim, it's full to the brim. And I can't stop growing. It's just what I love. So those plants that we see here is now already prepping for phase 2, which will be next year. But there's such a lot of exciting things. And what is more wonderful than in the morning early, going to the nursery and walking around and see this new plant in flower, or this little baby coming up, or the guinea fowl that ate the little baby. That also happens. But a nursery is just one of the most rewarding things I can think of. Then secondly, after plant material, which we still bought a lot in, but like I said, 80% of the plants we grew ourselves, is water. Now we have a lot of water in this property, but we want to work well with water, even though there is, because down the stream, there's still a lot of farms that are dependent on that water. We had a dam on the farm, but I decided let's make it a lot bigger and deeper so we can store more, and then also build an island on the dam so that we can utilize that space also a lot more. And it's a beautiful space for the sunrise. And yoga is a very important part of the farm. So that's my sunrise island where we're going to do yoga early in the morning. And this is where we're starting. So still a bridge need to be built. That was very interesting to do. I'm not very good at carpentry, but we had to learn. And rocks on the island. So we have our pathways. I like natural pathways. I'm not a person for big concrete modern slabs. It's just not me. We had to clear and clean a lot in the property, and a lot of rocks came through. And that is what we used to create our pathways. All natural, but clay, lots and lots of clay. So we had to compost a lot of our dead branches and leaves and everything that we gather, organic matter, and start to mulch it and compost it so we can put it back in the soil so we can get better drainage and better nutrition. Luckily, I work with a drone. It's the only bit of technology I really work with. And so I take the drone up and then we start sketching out on the property areas that's going to be for what. And also measuring it out. And so with chalk, we measure out the garden piece by piece, like you can see here from above. And by hand in 40 degrees. I don't get a tan. I wish I could get a tan. I only get red, and it takes me 3 minutes to be blood red. So it's not because I love wine, it's just because my skin doesn't like the sun. But I chose this profession, so let's go with it. So this is the upper productive, and here we are setting out the area. There were a lot of olive trees on the site, but also very neglected. Now, I needed to prune them because we want these olives to be productive, and we want a lot of olives, and we want the trees to be nice and dense and healthy. So I went in with a chainsaw and I cut down all the olive trees about 3/4 of the way. And it was quite a shock for everybody. I think a lot of people got a bit of a fright. But at the moment, the trees are gorgeous. A year later, and you would never ever say that they've been cut. They're much lower, so it's reachable to harvest your olives, and they're also much healthier. All the dead branches and old growth have been taken away. Here we are clearing, also part of the site. So this site has a lot of deciduous trees in it. And the gardens that we wanted to do evergreen trees, but bad evergreen trees, like massive overseas ficuses that just cover the soil with their roots, we took out. And we rather replace them with meadows or with deciduous trees. But all of this material was not wasted, and we started our composting, which is essential for us, not just composting, but also mulch. Just to protect the roots of small plants that we are planting, especially in the productive gardens, with this heat that we have in summer. It can easily get to 40 degrees here. And that was one of the best things we've ever done. And then obviously, when we are doing compost, we need some animals to give some manure to our compost. And this was the first chickens that I raised from little babies on site. And you can see in the mornings, they would come to the door, knocking on for their food. I love millipap. It's one of my favorite things, and so does my chickies. So in the morning, they're there ready for their millipap, same as me. But things changed, and I decided it's time for an upgrade for the chickens from their little wooden structure, and we made them a lovely, beautiful little chicken coop. That's the outside. It now has 2 piggies as well, and I'm getting ducks this weekend, run the ducks. And that's the inside of the chicken coop on that side. So they have a nice, comfy space. And this is one of my new chickies that hatched about, 3 weeks ago, I think. And here's one of the little piggies. I'm very comfortable with the pig because I love the pig, because the pig is digging around in the compost in the coop all the time, and then all the hojos go out and they just go for a hunt with the pig. And these are, at the back, you'll see the spotted horse. His name is also Leon. And then in front, we have the miniature donkeys, which is so cute, so absolutely cute. So the property is starting to get life. The cycle is starting to make sense, taking organic matter, animal matter, secretions and things, and then starting to make our base for our gardens, which is the most important thing. If you don't have a good base for your gardens to grow, it's just not going to do well. Starting to measure out the space. So here on the left-hand side of the screen, you'll see that this was the start of the chakra garden. Chakra garden, spiritual space with all the different chakras of the body, starting with the base chakra, ending at the top of the head. So each chakra has a different prominent color. It started with red, going to orange and yellow and green, and then blue, indigo, and ended out as white. And here we are collecting rocks. So wherever there's a road being made or being cleared for a garden section, we use all the rocks and put it back into the garden, either to build walls or to make pathways. And then the rain comes, and it's not a little bit. So when it rains on this farm, it could easily be 100 mils, and not a lot of structures like that. So you can see one of our main roads being eroded, some of the walls, old walls falling over because of heavy rains. So such a lot of reconstruction and fixing of this old property that's been so neglected. And cold. It can get 40 degrees in summer, but in winter we have snow. Well, we had snow this year on the highest parts of the farm, which is quite unique. We didn't have that the year before. It was so beautiful. There's nothing more special than walking in from your garden, just walking up the mountain and just go play in the snow. It was very, very nice. And some of the perennials that we use love that ice cold winter where the soil almost wants to freeze, and then they shoot out so much better in spring and summer. Planting trees. So we've taken some of the Ufi trees, the invasive trees, out and replacing them with indigenous trees. So these are cercias and saltuses that we're planting, all deciduous trees. But to get the trucks in to plant these trees, you need a lot of cappuccinos to get you through this day. But we managed to do it. This tree on the right-hand side was the biggest problem we had because, well, I didn't know it would be that big. So we had to break down the wall again after it fell over to bring the tree into the garden. Talk about working backwards. And then a lot of properties have this white elephant. Yes, I know you are very eager, especially as John said, during the holidays to get active, and now you want to be sporty and you're going to have a six-pack in 2 weeks. It hardly ever works like that. And then you have tennis courts like this sitting on the property, just deteriorating and looking terrible. And this was one of the first areas I wanted to demolish and just get out of this property. And that is what we did. But also finding some water springs underneath it, as you can see. So there's always a surprise in an old property. You don't know what you're going to get. So here we had to put in all the drainage to get all of this water that is siphoning out from under the soil. Like, you know, Valpre will be very happy with the amount of water that's bubbling up, and to take it to the river out. And here we are struggling to do that. But this is how it looks now. So at the moment, it's a lavender garden. It's a sunken garden. To the left is where the horses' day paddock is. And here is where you do a nice bit of yoga, late afternoon, or a dinner inside the sunken garden. There's a water feature just for a bit of sound at the back. And then we have to, well, we wanted a prominent lavender garden so we can also harvest for the hotel, as they're also making some fragrances. So this is our spot. This was one of the most beautiful pools of the property, one of many, where I don't think it was done by an architect. I think this was done by the homeowners. But in any case, so this was all demolished. And I wanted to still have a pool there, but I wanted an organic, you know, eco pool where you can swim with the little fishies and with the water lilies and a few frogs. And so we changed it, broke out that squarish pond and put in our eco pool. So here it's now going to be round, and underneath the rocks where you see there, it looks very fresh, but underneath the rocks, that's our filtering systems, and the water actually goes into those rocks, and there's a basin at the bottom of that, and the water filters through the roots and our different layers and get pumped to a separate little pond where it bubbles again, pushes through roots, and then back into the eco pond. So now I'm also going to show you part of the gardens, how they were and how they look like now. So first of all, eco pool. So this is how it looked like, a little snapshot, and this is how it is today. So beautifully clear water, and you'll see right at the top, you know, where the mountain is, where steps go up, there's a little pool, but your pond, you can't see it, it's just green. And that is my filter pond. And it pushes through the roots of that greenery, then comes out in between the steps. And that is where I get my air. my oxygen into the water. It falls into the main pond, and here I suck it all the way around the pond, where you saw the rocks in the previous slide, and also from the bottom of the pond, and then gets pushed back, but slowly. This is not a waterfall. It's very peaceful, and the water goes very slowly. It now has lots of fish in, local fishies, and local water lilies, and mostly indigenous plants around the pool. Not mostly, just about all of it's indigenous. This was the orchard garden. Now, what happened here before, this is when we took out all, there was orange trees here, but very sick orange trees. You did not want to eat those oranges. Don't know what you'd get. So we took it all out, put in drainage, put in all our goodies that we are now creating after about half a year with compost. I know I wanted to leave it a little bit longer, but you know, time. And then we planted our orchard garden. Now the orchard garden is where we have our plum orchards. It's all new varieties, not yet available in the shoppies. And then also herbs. So each room of this garden would have a prominent herb. And the three most prominent ones is very common herbs. And that is a mint section, oregano section, and a thyme section. But not just one or two species or varieties, hundreds of them. And this is how the section, well, a part of it looks like at the moment. So that's the gate, our mulberries, and you can see we're espaliating all our plum trees on the poles. In about 2 years' time, the poles will go away and the plum trees will be espaliated into fences all on their own. I don't keep my orchards clean and clear in between. I want to bring in all the hohos I can get, bees and butterflies, even some baddies. You have to have the bad with the good, right? You can't only have good. And so in between my plum orchards and my plum rows, I plant bee balm. It's just a magical plant. Yes, it goes away in winter, but in summer it is spectacular. And there's nothing that attracts bees like bee balm. Remember the island? Well, this took the longest of all the sections that we've done so far because of the poor quality of the soil. And yeah, all the heavy rain to get in there with your boots. But this is how it looks like now. So we built our bridge. Yes, we are now carpenters too. And we have the white island. So it's mostly white flowers on the island. So it's a peaceful space. It's meadow. Nothing on this farm is cut to perfection. Some of the seeds, not all of them, some of them I take out, but where they come up, if it makes sense. On the middle of the island, there's a round deck where you can do yoga. And all the ground covers in between the pathways and on the decks and around the decks is different types of chamomile. So when you walk onto that pathway, you just get that waft of chamomile scent that goes into the air. And there's just before it started to flower. This was, I think, about 4 weeks ago. At the moment, it's just a sway of flowers. And that water in the dam is crystal clear. So if you snorkel in the dam, it's almost like a garden underneath. It's completely greened with plants. This is the chakra garden. Now, the chakra garden was just an old horse paddock. They had some horses there. It was just grass. So we took that out. You can see there still my olive trees on the side. That's been cut. And using the stone on the farm that we're digging out wherever we are digging to create these walls, which is our divisions for the journey that you have in the chakra garden. Each space have a prominent color, but it's not so prominent that it's Disney. I don't want a Disney garden. It's subtle. When you're in this section of the garden, you will have a more of a green coloring experience and so forth in each of the sections. And this is how it looks like at the moment. So that dam that you see there, this is at the end of the chakra, and this is the white garden. So most of the flowers here and the grasses will reflect all the white color ranges. And then so the colors go to the top of where it's red. but it's all covered, it's all grown. And this has only really been, since it's been planted, I would say about 10 months now. So it's grown really well. And that's all that compost that we're doing. And chicken manure, my little chickies are working very hard. And this is the green part. It's in flower at the moment in our green part of the chakra garden. And the most prominent flower that I have now in the chakra garden, in the green section, is the gladiolus. And this green one that you buy from, you get the bulbs in the store. That's why I got it. I went to, I think it was Pick and Pay, and I was standing at the till, and I usually look for chocolates. But that day I just saw all of these old gladiolus that was on special. And I said, okay, load my trolley. And I took them all and planted them. And this is what I had. This is the second season now. And it's a lot more than last year. So they work so well. And that's how gladiolus grow, most of them, not all of them, but in these grassy meadows, especially starting now there up in the north, Mpumalanga, Chrissy-Smere, Dahlstrom, Drakensberg. So gladiolus, please use it in your garden. It's so beautiful. Okay, wait. It's supposed to do something. There we go.
Yeah, I'm just clicking.
Is it working now?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So this is other sections. So on the right-hand side, you'll see the grasslands, and that is in wintertime. So when most of the color of the chakra garden has disappeared, and then only the grasses is there, but that's still beautiful. I love when gardens have seasons. They also tell a story. They have a voice too, and I like hearing it. And I don't want to see a garden that's exactly the same throughout the whole year. For me, that becomes boring. I like a garden that changes with how my mood changes. And on the left-hand side, you'll see in one of the more bluish parts of the gardens is just some irises that's popping through. But they are so beautiful in between this bit of a rough landscape. This is part of the white, and you'll see that my pathways, sometimes it's stone, sometimes it's like a crushery, not crush, I don't like crusher, but like a sandy soil, just to keep it organic. And the stone walls kind of disappear. They appear and then fade away. Lawns, I never want a big lawn in my garden, but in any case, we have a bit of lawns, but this was massive lawn. And we built a little dam on the end of it, and then indigenous garden to surround this dam, flowing into a magnolia lawn where you can actually have picnics. And this is how it is now. That's the magnolia lawn. So this is the pink to purpley magnolias, and it wraps the lawn, and it's got undulations. So you can put your cushions on the side of the lawns, and you can almost sit, not upright, but halfway up. And then it leads your face or your vision to a point at the top, which points towards the dam. And from there on, you move slowly but surely into the indigenous garden, which is surrounding the dam, like here. I like indigenous, I like exotic plants. For me, there's a place for all of them. But I have a particular fondness of indigenous plants, but I have them merging into one another. It's not one that stops immediately and then indigenous starts immediately. It slowly fades into one another to have exotic at the one end and indigenous on the other, but you don't notice it while you walk. So a lot of scabiosa and a lot of Wachendorfias and African camomiles, and there's just so many things in this garden. And that is the Franschhoek Pass at the back. And that's just a beautiful view. In this garden, Aristida was the main grass. It's called Congoni grass. And this is the old manor house built in 17 something. Very, very old. Now this photo might look bad because if it looks bad, you actually don't want to make an effort to make it look good. It almost looks like winter in Europe, you know, like Eastern Europe. You just want to, anyway. So this is us packing our plants. Now, I grew my own plants, most of it, so some of them are really small. They're not grown for a garden center to have this instant effect, but I know that my soil is good, so they will have that effect. So planting, this is the other way, going from the main house down. And because this is the old heart of the property, historical heart, I want to kind of keep the view to the front of the house because it's historical and it's beautiful. So this is where my perennial gardens are. So it's a lot of flowers, soft flowers. So you can walk down, have a happy feeling, but also pick flowers if you need to. And this is how it looks now. Lots of soft grasses, cut flowers, and this changes throughout the season. So different plants would start to emerge and give you different colors. But the colors would go from purple to pink and white and fade in and out of those colors. This is also part of it. So there you can see at the back, the indigenous gardens slowly starting to flow into the perennial garden. Still more flowers, lots of flowers. I love color, a lot of color. And I love textures and I love a bit of a wild look. And this here in front on the left-hand side, under the oak trees are quite dark. So we have some very nice plants that still give you that meadow, perennial border effect without breaking it because it's too dark. And because of a lot of rain, we have a lot of rainbows too. And this was just a beautiful morning. We had some rain falling over the perennial garden and some rainbows too. I made my wish. It's not come true yet, not at all. And here we are. This is in the dark on the left. It's really dark under a very big oak tree, but flowing towards the sunny area, which is on your right. But the colors still talk to one another. Now, this was that dam that we built. So we have three dams in the garden. It's not a very big dam. It's just to give a nice tranquil space and to also have a little bit more storage for my garden supply. And here it is at the moment. Lots and lots of plants. Okay, I think there's something on the screen, so I'll just wait for that to be. But see, Wackendorfias, lots of water lilies. I love all the different types of water lilies. And don't worry about the water lilies going away in the winter. That doesn't matter. It's what's coming out in spring that matters. So, and the Scabiosa, which is not the hybrid that you buy at the garden centers, which only lasts you 6 months. This is the original. These are the species that you buy at the indigenous garden center in Kirstenbosch or a few other places. And they last forever and they become big and they always flower and are hardy.
Or you just have to touch your screen once.
And then these are the undulations in topography. So for me important, when you walk through a garden, I don't want to see the one area from a different area because that spoils your anticipation. It spoils the story. So I want to hide different sections of the garden from one another. And a good way to do that is by creating berm effects. So here we have indigenous berms with grasses and some other indigenous stuff. And one of my favorite plants that I love to use, and it's a very important plant for my garden, it's very difficult to find, but I grow my own, is diorama. And diorama is more of the northern part, so summer rainfall. So if you want to use it here in the Cape, you have to have good drainage in winter, otherwise they're going to rot. And the best place to use them then and to plant them is on berms like this. So in winter, the water can, as much as possible, drain away from the roots. And then in summer, well, they're just finished now, they would flower. And there I am. So on my berms, I'm harvesting for the nursery, for phase 2, lots of diorama, which is also called angel rod wings, right? What I call it, angels fishing rods. That's it, angels fishing rods. And they grow up there in Mpumalanga, Gauteng, Drakensberg, that area in between the grasslands. They are just so beautiful in a garden setting. Not only the flowers, which is spectacular, but also the seed heads hanging over the grass meadows. On the left-hand side, well, that's just a pretty picture. I just love the colors. And yes, there are some 1 or 2 weeds that come up, but I am not sterile in my gardens. If I like the weed, it stays, except if it's really aggressive, then I don't. And there's the indigenous gardens. Watsonia starting to flower from little bulbs. And on the left-hand side, on the right-hand side, is where the indigenous and exotic starts to merge. Yes, that is my life a lot on sites. This is how it looks like. Complaining to the builders that where's my drainage? And when is my site ready? But in any case, so this is before, and this is going to be a breakfast space where you can sit and enjoy breakfast. But I still want you to have an enclosed feeling. So this is how it looks like now. Oh, no, wait. It's first going to get some olive trees, because there are some olive trees on the farm that didn't make sense and they needed to change or move places. So I moved them here. And this is now also about 7 months ago when I placed them. And this is how it looks at the moment. Just a little overview of a little part of the garden so that you get more of a feeling of it. So this is half of phase 1. So on the left-hand side, you'll see next to the road going down, there's Chakra Garden. Then next to it is Orchard Garden, Magnolia Garden, going into the eco pool area, flowing into the berms, to the dam, down the indigenous gardens into the vegetable garden at the right-hand side. At the top, you'll see the perennial garden, still very young then. This was taken quite a while back. And then in the front, you'll see the vegetable gardens part 2 being developed. There's phase 1 of the vegetable gardens, a lot of indigenous gardens around the dam, and the little kayak for if you really need a timeout. And that's just a view from that. So this is about 30% of phase 1. So the gardens still go a lot further towards the big dams and lavender gardens and all of that, but I didn't take photos of those ones. Can't spoil it all, can't show everything. In the vegetable gardens, got some big rocks I was lying around, hollow them out. So that's our washing bay for our vegetables. Everything, there's no spray in this garden. We plant our first batch, harvest seed, and you reuse our seed. We use material from the farm, from wood to vines, like you can see here, making our own baskets. In the pots in front, this is where I put all my special goodies. We make our own gates from old window frames. And even in between the vines, don't like it to be sterile. So this for the spring, we sowed in all our Namaqualand daisies. And for summer, again, poppies and things. So it will change. So the more bees, the better. Still making structures out of all the vines, the grapevines that we're harvesting. Our pruning, so using it again, there's it full of sweet peas. Also one of my favorite little treats. And that was our first harvest it seems like ages ago now. And obviously my favorite dish in the world is waterblommetjie and I can't go without it. So we're growing our own waterblommetjie up on a giton. And then that was a look at phase 1. And this is phase 2. The area is already prepped. And we will start this phase 2 in March next year. And that's going to be a lot of fynbos in this garden, going towards the mountain and creating this beautiful botanical walk with true Cape plants. And that is that.
No, Leon, no.
There we go.
No.
What do you mean no? What did I do wrong?
I don't know. It's like, you know, when you've got this book, awesome book on your hand, and you just you don't want it to end, and you just keep turning the pages as slow as you possibly can because you just don't want this book to end. I think it feels like that. It feels like I don't want this to end. I just want it to continue going. It's like
Well, it is. That was only chapter 1.
oh my goodness. I don't know. I don't know what's going on in your head where you get all these ideas, but oh my goodness. Just tell us through your thought process. How do you come up with a concept like you've just had now?
So
what's the starting point? Let's start there. What is the starting point?
The most important part for the starting point is the coffee shop. Honestly, that is where it starts. So I go to a coffee shop and I just sit and think about the space. I think a lot of people think I'm a bit rude because I'm just sitting and staring. I'm not staring at you in the coffee shop. I'm just sitting and thinking in my mind about the space. And but not only that, it's also the property and the surroundings, those mountains that also give you inspiration for what to do on a smaller scale, obviously, in the property.
My goodness. Leon, absolutely amazing. You never cease to amaze us. You always take us on this magical journey that is almost unbelievable, but believable. I don't know if that makes sense.
Hey.
And the work that you do, oh my goodness. Sure. All right. So everybody on the call, you guys are in for a treat. We've been monitoring the chat very carefully, and we've got a lot of people on the call, Leon, and I think you're going to help me with this. I want to give away prizes today. Today, I'm just feeling all generous. We've got a whole lot of stuff to give away, and Leon, you're going to help me do this because of initially when we started this project, Leon, I thought, wow, we want to make it very difficult. And the first question that we asked, I saw everybody just answering the question. I thought it was going to be so difficult that everybody's just not going to get it. But drum roll, please. I think, Leon, you're going to work with me here, and we're going to give away some 2 tickets, especially from, 2 gifts. Let me tell you just a little bit about what we're giving away today. We are giving away tickets to Kirstenbosch National Botanical Garden, and this will be group tickets. Some of our members that are currently on the call are individuals that are Botanical Society members, but we thought, it would be nice to, take this giveaway tickets and maybe group them and then offer them to friends if you already have access. But otherwise, if you don't, then you can come and enjoy with your family and loved ones. So we're giving away tickets. In fact, it's going to be 4 times 4 tickets to Kirstenbosch National Botanical Garden for you to come and enjoy. We currently have a fantastic augmented reality art exhibition. We're going digital now, Leon. So we've got this amazing augmented reality exhibition, 18 beautifully curated art pieces around the garden. And the way for you to see this curated artwork is for you to download this Seeing the Invisible app. And through your phone, you'll be able to see this amazing artwork. So those are the first few tickets. Our friends from the Galileo have come on board and offered us double tickets. So 2 times tickets to view one of their beautiful movie screening. And yeah, so you just come out, a picnic basket, take your loved one, and just come and enjoy a movie night. It happens on a Thursday and also on a Sunday at Kirstenbosch National Botanical Gardens. So please, if you win those tickets, that's what you get to do. And also our friends from Old Nectar Garden family, they have come on board and they have offered us 2 Old Nectar tickets. So 2 times. So we'll be giving those double tickets on this platform today. So those tickets you can just take, and please go check out Old Nectar. Absolutely beautiful. I think it's just a snapshot of what Leon has presented for us today. You know, it's there, but I think Leon has just taken it to another level. We also have stunning books that we'll be giving away. We have looked very closely and carefully throughout this whole 2021 season, Leon, at everybody that has been attending, and we've looked at our analytics, and we've looked at who has been attending the shows the most, and so on and so forth, and we had to come up with all this algorithm, literally analyzing each name by name, talk by talk, to see who has attended all the shows. So we're going to be giving 2 lucky winners surprises today, and I'll be naming them a little bit later on in the show. And last but not least, we've got additional questions that Leon is obviously going to pick out from members. Any questions that come up now that we're going to be taking, Leon will be picking 2 of those questions and telling us who he would like to give those prizes to. And those prizes are coming from our friends from Straight Nature, and it will be beautiful book sets. It's called, the first one is called The Field Guide to Gladioli of South Africa. Absolutely beautiful book. And the other one is The Most Beautiful Garden in Africa. So all those editions will be offered to you today. And last but not least, if anybody's joining us, I saw on the call, we've got individuals from Zurich, we've got our friends joining us from the UK. If you are not anywhere close by, we will be, and you happen to win one of our prizes today, you may either choose to offer those tickets to some of your friends or your family members down in South Africa, or otherwise you may choose to have an electronic book which Straight Nature has offered to us today. So Leon, without any waste of time, I think the first starting point is, let's start with the questions. You know, while we still have everybody on the call, and let me do this quickly because of, I can tell you now, yeah, the presentation that you've taken us through is just mind-blowing. So thank you for the beautiful work that you do, Leon. Let me start off with the 2 questions. In fact, I'm going to start off quickly with the very first one that we got from Gordon, where Gordon was asking us at the beginning of the presentation whether you're going to touch on the project that you did in McGregor. Can you just give us a quick overview of how that is going, how far that project is? I know it's probably finished now, and how's things looking out there?
So the McGregor project is my gift to McGregor, because the town loves their plants so much. And it's in a very special part of the Western Cape. It's where the Fynbos meets Karoo, desert. So a very important part for that area for the plants to really spread and survive. And part of their survival technique is wind. And so I called the garden Windblown and explained in the garden, or tried to bring about to tourists or local people, of how important for us, for my hair and things, it might not be great, but for the plants, how important wind is. And not just the wind, also the mountains around the wind that guides the wind and the seed and the pollen and everything. And that's why we have that beautiful space there. So with the town and with volunteers, we sculpted the garden with rocks and vines and twigs, and got a lot of plants sponsored, a lot of seeds sponsored. And so we planted mostly, not all, because 1 or 2 of the Namaqualand daisies were a bit hybrids, but sowed in seed that would be from that area. And to also showcase in a small kind of botanical garden of what grows there and what is so beautiful and spectacular when you drive past the road. And it also changes. So it changes from annuals, and then the bulbs come out through the Windblown garden. And it's also got these little areas, which is more prominent in different species. And then in winter, yes, and summer, it will start to dissipate and things will fade away, but it will sow itself. And then again, the process will start again next season. So that's kind of the idea, and yeah, just teaching people in that area about their wonderful flora.
Wow. No, beautiful, beautiful, Leon. So Leon, for the purpose of this one, we've got quite a few questions coming up. So I want to get through them. I want to go through as many as we possibly can. So I think I want to apologize in advance to everybody that's on the call. We're not going to go extensively into answering the questions, but mainly to just get a feel of, the different questions that you've got and what everybody's kind of thinking. So Leon, let's try and keep it sweet and short. So let me start off with Neil. Neil is asking us now, what heritage aspect of the landscape, trees, structures, ecosystems, artifacts, etc., were considered or retained and incorporated into the design? Using terms like clean slate, suggests that most of these artifacts, if any, were removed. That's the first question. Let me just take the second one as well. From Stacy. Stacy's asking us, hi, Leon, what kind of upkeep do you need for an organic pool? While it's more eco-friendly, does algae and rampant lilies become a problem? What about fish care, for instance? I can imagine it can be more expensive than a non-sustainable pool.
Okay.
So let's take those two questions. What are you thinking, Leon?
So when it comes to heritage, we have some guidelines that we have to work with. So obviously, first of all, structures. No heritage structures were taken away or amended. They were just fixed where fixed needed to be. And then also a lot of when it comes to plants, there weren't really any plants on the property except big trees. So all the big trees that were on the property are mainly oak trees, but we left all of them. So we just treated them and keep them. They're not very healthy, so they won't be there forever anymore. And then we just added some new indigenous trees to it. So that was kind of the only thing that when it comes to design of the garden in front of the old manor house, which is the historic part of it. And that is where we try to make the garden again, not exactly what it was a long time ago, it's a lot better now, but to still focus the garden going up towards the front door of the old manor house. So that is how we see it. So yeah, heritage was very important. When it comes to the eco pool, if you do it right, it should not be a lot of work. So this eco pool is really no work at all. You just need that balance to develop, and that takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. You have to have the right amount of fish in the end. Algae will be there, but you need to feed the fish and the snails too. So you have to have a bit of that. And then your plant selection needs to be correct. And also your aeration and the water source that you use to fill the pond initially as well. But at the moment, we don't add anything. Yes, and if some water lilies do come up, I hope they do, I will gladly swim like Little Mermaid in between all of those lilies. But at the moment, not really. Remember, fish and snails and things keep the balance intact.
Awesome. Leon, I think just as a follow-up question, and I think it's coming from Heather. Heather's asking, as you leave a space, is it self-seeding and caring for itself? And I think it's just a kind of a follow-up from the eco pool. And Wendy's asking, was the secret garden all your idea, or did you have suggestions, or do you have a team that you collaborate with in terms of brainstorming? I think everybody's just interested as to how you come up with all these beautiful ideas you've got.
So no, the garden that we did here it's just me. So the architects, there weren't a lot of buildings built. It was just reconstruction or fixing the old ones. So they were involved with that, but I didn't really have anything really to do with them because there's no major building outside of that. So all the gardens was on my shoulders, which is it's a heavy thing because it's the heart of the farm. So it's very important. So I do always ask for opinions. I'm not somebody that takes my own opinion. I will always ask for opinions and then choose what I deem good. when it comes to the garden, maintenance-wise, there does not exist a garden that is no maintenance. Even if you only have paving, you will still need to maintain only your paving. So yes, where the seeds fall, they can come up. Not everywhere though. The garden is controlled wild. So I want the cycle to continue every year with the plants coming back up, and where they fall is usually great. But like I said, it needs to be controlled still, otherwise it can look a little bit yamakar. And I want to add new things too.
I think, yeah, I think that's the secret, controlled wild. I think that's a new term that we're gonna take from this talk here. Leon, let me just take this one from Sherry. Says, how many local craftsmen and women were also involved in the creation of the Secret Garden? So I'm supposing the whole idea is, looking at the scale of the work that you're currently undergoing, especially phase 1 going into phase 2, how big is your team? And also the geology, from Renee, asking the geology and the landscape, how does that affect the choices of plants that you choose? Is it based, what is it based on?
So first of all, the team is 20 people. So we are 20 working on the gardens. That is everything. That is installing the new ones and maintaining and building. So I have guys that are really good in creating sculptures with vines and all of those kind of things, and working with rock. Rock is a skill. Rock you can't just hoy next to one another. To look natural and to look right, it takes time and it takes an eye. So I have people to do that for me. They live here, and they do a wonderful job. And when it comes to geography of the space, you have to take that into consideration, because wherever you have a little bit of a incline, so especially here, your soil conditions change and areas become more wet, areas become more dry, more sunny, more shady. And so the plants also change throughout the garden, and it's all adapted just for those little microclimates within the garden, not only for now, but also to be there for the future, because some plants will get bigger and create more shade, or vice versa.
Great stuff. We're doing good. Leon, remember, as we're going through these questions, and I'm going to take last 2 questions just to keep it contained, I want you to keep thinking, which question are we going to hand over to our winner? So think of 2 questions that we're going to pick out from here. All right, let me just take the last 2 questions from Kali. Kali says, please advise the names of the fabulous grasses. Grasses are extremely evocative. You've got so many different textures there of grasses that you've got there. Let me just take one more. Also comes on to say, those spirals are stunning. Are they made from growing willows or just structural?
Okay, so first of all, the grasses. And I am very fond of grasses. If you know any of my gardens, you'll see that my gardens contain about 70% grasses and 30% perennials or annuals. So grasses are very important, and I have a huge variety of grasses in this garden. Unfortunately, a lot of them is not available to buy, but one of my favorites is always Eragrostis capensis, and that can go into semi-shade, full sun, but you have to cut it right down with grasses. Don't be shy. If you are scared of cutting grasses in August every year, and even a little bit now, just to get some new growth, then don't plant grasses. Because I don't want to hear you moan when those things are this high. But the reward is so much better once they start to grow in summer. So Melinus naviglumus, it's a beautiful local one. Eragrostis curvula is also a nice one if you want a dense meadow effect without other plants coming through. If you want plants coming through, use Eragrostis capensis or Melinus naviglumus. Now, when it comes to the sculptural aspects, vines, I don't really have, well, there's 1 or 2 willows on the farm, but I don't use them. So we have some old vineyards on the farm. So vineyards have to be pruned, especially this time of the year. So when we cut all the vines, we let them dry on heaps, and then we use those cut vines to create all our sculptures. And then the poles that we use everywhere in the garden is all the old gum trees that were on top of the mountain that was cut down. So we still have a lot to use.
Awesome, Leon. Sure, absolutely beautiful. I think, Leon, without dragging this for too long, I think it's that time where we want to go, drum rolls, please, and start issuing some of those winners. And I hope you've been keeping tab on all those questions that have been coming up. Yeah. I'll come back to you just shortly. Let me start off with thanking everybody just for participating in all the questions, and just a reminder on the polls that we posted up. Now, for question number 1, we asked a very difficult question, and I see all the winners are all loaded on the chats over here. And thank you to the team working behind the scenes, just to help me, consolidate all the winners. So the winners for question number 1, as posted on the chat, goes to Wendy. Is it Steitler? Wendy Steitler and Ann Gibson. So you guys are our fabulous winners, and we will be in touch with you guys via email. And you guys, Wendy wins 4 double tickets to Kirstenbosch, as well as Ann Gibson. You win 4 double tickets to Kirstenbosch. So please come and visit Kirstenbosch. We'll send you guys an email and share all those beautiful stuff with you, all the beautiful art exhibition that we've got going on. It will be nice to share with you guys. Now, moving on to question 2. Question 2, we asked you a very difficult question to tell us exactly which talk you enjoyed. And, obviously this is quite subjective. Individuals enjoy different topics. And Leon, I have to say,
I'll mute.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you don't have to mute. Everybody was just saying, oh, I loved all Leon's talks this year. Leon is just absolutely amazing. I love the energy. Sherry posting on the talk on the chat over here saying the online Wednesday talk have been sustained throughout COVID-19 pandemic. Forever grateful to the organizers and presenters for their sterling work. And Sherry, we share the sentiments, the same sentiments with you. We are absolutely grateful that through this trying times, we're able to continue with the talks. But now, moving on to the winners of that question 2, I've got it all over here. Question number 2, telling us about what was your favorite talk for the year. And the winners go to Heather Hedson, and Jenny Hishen. Heather, well done to you, and Jenny, you've got amazing prizes coming from you. And to you guys, we are offering the 2 books from Straight Nature. Let me just open them up here quickly so that we can see what you guys have won yourself. Heather, we will be in touch with you to send you this amazing book called The Most Beautiful Garden in Africa. And Heather, and Jenny, we will be sending you a stunning book called Field Guides to Gladiolus of South Africa. My team is working behind the scene just to note all those comments that we've got on. And now I'm coming over to Leon. Leon, we had amazing questions. What are you thinking?
Okay, so I like the question about grasses. You touched my soft spot, I guess. From that. So yeah, because I think grasses are just so important. Remember, grasses provide more pollen for bees than your flowers. So a lot of times we don't think that grasses have pollen. It's not flowery, but it is indeed a lot more so than flowers, general flowers. So I think that would be the first one for me.
Okay, perfect. And now let me just double check which one was coming from.
Oh, I can't.
Very good. That was coming from Kali. Kali, Kali, you are absolutely amazing. You've won yourself 2 tickets. We want you to come and wine and dine with the Galileo. The Galileo is offering amazing double tickets. We want you to take your loved one, pack a nice picnic basket, and then come and view this beautiful movie happening at Kirstenbosch. It's quite easy. We will send you all the information regarding how to pick the movie of your choice. Choose any movie that you'd like to come and view. They happen on a Thursday as well on a Sunday. So pick any movie that you like, and we will be in touch with you to send you those tickets your way. Awesome stuff. Now the second question, Leon. Hoi.
Well, this one I saw on the little roll that comes down here, and it says it's from Justin Reynolds, and it says that what species of plant surprised you on how well it did. Well, that's the one I chatted about regarding the dioramas. I think the dioramas did exceptionally well, and they became massive plants in a season. And if you plant them elevated, as I said, and give them good drainage during winter, they will do beautifully. So that's the one.
Awesome stuff. The winner goes to Justin. Justin, we also want to send you those 2 double movie tickets from the Galileo. So you will be getting those tickets. So please take the love of your life or whoever you want to take and come and enjoy a movie. We want everybody to go out, just enjoy. It's out in the outdoors. It's quite nice. There's nice social distancing. So you will all be safe. So excellent, excellent. Leon, I'm going to challenge you and I'm going to ask you to just pick 2 more of the questions that you are interested in. And because I've got too many stuff to give away today. So I'm feeling very generous.
Is it more movie?
No. Now I want to give, let me tell you exactly what I want to give away now. I want to give away 2 tickets to the Old Nectar. So give me one winner from the questions, and then we'll take another one.
Okay, let's.
So the first ticket,
the Ikapool question.
Yes.
About the maintenance and how difficult it is. As I say, it's not that difficult at all. That is why all our ponds and streams in the Cape and throughout the country that's healthy are so clear. It's because they have a healthy ecosystem. And the same with any organ, even our skin. So if you keep it healthy, you don't need to fiddle with it. You won't have issues. Yeah. So
beautiful. And that one goes to Stacy Ismail. Stacy, you have won yourself 2 tickets to this fabulous place, the Old Nectar. Absolutely stunning, and I think you're gonna absolutely love that. So go out and enjoy. We are in the festive season, so we want you guys to go out and actually enjoy with your loved ones. Leon, give me one last one.
Okay, and that is the structures that I made, and that is from vines and old invasive wood. And you don't have to go and buy everything in shops. There's so many unused shrubbery that you can make creative things with.
Awesome. And Leon, just repeat, who is that coming from?
I don't have your screen anymore. So.
Oh, sorry. So what was the question about?
Was it willow? What did I use for my structures, my twirls?
Oh, that one was coming from, I think it was coming from, it's going to be quite easy to pick up. The shrubs, I remember that very well. The structural willow, that's coming from Kali. No, actually, Kali has already received the prize, so we have to offer it to somebody else.
Casino night.
Kali has already received the prize. Yes. Come, Leon. Come, Leon. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
We can the heritage one. Let's do the heritage question.
Let's do the heritage question. Now, the heritage question was coming from, I'll tell you. The heritage question was coming from Neil. Neil, well done, my friend. Well done, well done. Dunstan Will is also getting those double tickets to go and check out the Old Nectar, an absolutely beautiful place. And we are so grateful to be, to be partnering with all these wonderful partners. As you can see on the current screen that you've got on, you will see all the labels on top there, all the guys that we are partnering with: Room to Grow, the Galileo, Senbi, Straight Nature, Old Nectar, and of course, our very special presenter today, Leon. I'm gonna just give away two more because I think I've got two more questions, and this is just going to be a quick random ones that I'm just giving out because of we just feeling so generous today. And these ones are literally going to individuals, two individuals that have been with us since the beginning of the year, Leon. They've literally attended every single presentation that we've had with all our guests. So we are absolutely great. We are absolutely grateful for everybody that has taken time to always be with us, and join us on this wonderful talks, participating and just supporting all the wonderful speakers that we've got. And drum rolls, please. The first one goes to, and let me pull it up here so that I can see properly. Goes to, wait for it, and Ntate Nettie Frankenstein. Well done, Nettie. Absolute pleasure. He is always on the call and making sure that we are working beautifully with everybody that is joining us on the call that's giving presentations. So, Ntate Nettie Frankenstein, thank you very much. You will be getting a wonderful book sponsored by our friends from Straight Nature called Living Shores. Absolutely lovely book. It's something that you want to keep on your coffee table. And the second prize for someone that has attended all the talks throughout 2021 goes to Sherry Croden. Sherry Croden, you will also be receiving a wonderful book, a complete photographic field guide, Birds of South Africa. And that book is coming straight to you. Leon, I think that brings us to the end. We want to start giving away more and more of this wonderful treats. And, being the last presentation of the year, we thought let's just do something special and give some prizes away to everybody that joins us on the call today. So thank you everybody that has joined us on this wonderful journey in 2021, where we've come together, supported one another. We've had amazing responses from each and every one of you, joining us always on the call and always being present. Even when we had small challenges here during load shedding and we had to shift the talk to the next weekend, you guys were right there with us, working with one another. And as we wrap up this year, we want to continue to just echo that message of safety. We wish everybody safe. Let's remember to sanitize. Let's remember to maintain social distancing. And where possible, let's just wear our masks and also just to encourage one another to get vaccinated. And, science does say that vaccinations do help reduce hospitalization and, save lives. So let's do our best to encourage one another to get vaccinated, and let's do all those precautions to keep each other safe. We also, I wanna also just take this opportunity to thank everybody that is working behind the scenes, our team from Straight Nature, Belinda and the team. Without you, this would not be possible. You know, working with all this technology and making sure that our speakers feel comfortable. You know, we have pre-meetings just to make sure everything runs smoothly. So to the Straight Nature team for putting all this online webinars together, thank you very much. The message from SNIE, SNIE management would like to wish everybody a safe, you know, peaceful and wonderful festive season. We wish to rejoin with you guys again in 2022. To the main organizer, you know, one individual that goes beyond the call of duty, Kathy Abbott, who goes out looking for these wonderful speakers. We thank you, Kathy. We love you. We love your energy. We love everything about the program, all the wonderful speakers that you bring to us so that we can come and share this wonderful time with. So to all the speakers that have shared this moment with us in 2021, thank you so much. Words cannot express our gratitude and the time that you've given. We hope to reconnect with everybody soon in 2022 and hopefully have a nice big meet where we can have coffee and biscuits and just catch up with one another and make sure we are all safe. From myself, John, it's been an absolute blast being part of the series, and we look forward to joining you guys again next year in 2022, literally in just the next few weeks. So from myself and everyone, we wish everyone a joyful, peaceful, safe, and wonderful festive season and Happy New Year. We wish to see you guys all safe in 2022. Leon, I'm just gonna give this one to you to wish everybody a well festive season. So your last message for 2021?
Well, have a good gardening holiday. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna plant my seed and walk through my gardens and just see how they just flourished. Yeah. So, and go in and explore the mountains too. It's a perfect time, especially if you're having to go to the coast in KZN. Beautiful time of the year then. Have a good Christmas. Cheers. Bye.
Beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen, that's how we come to the end of 2022 program, 2021 program. We wish you guys a wonderful festive season and a Happy New Year. We love you all. We will see you guys in 2022. Thank you, everybody, and well done to all the winners. We will be in touch with you guys via email so that we can send you all those wonderful gifts that you've won. Thank you, everybody. See you guys in 2022. Leon, I think we should start singing. Cheers, everybody. See you guys in 2022.